Welcome to the second episode in a Legendarium series about Greek mythology. In Part 2, Zeus Battles the Titans, we will talk about how Zeus freed his siblings from their father's stomach and went on to wage a war that would decide who would control the universe. On reaching adulthood, Zeus prepared to challenge his father for supremacy. This represented a terrible risk for him, for if Zeus failed, Cronos would chain him in Tartarus for all eternity. Yet the Greeks believed that no rewards came to those who lacked courage. Metis, a nymph of wisdom, gave Zeus counsel. Acting on her advice, Zeus masked himself as a cupbearer and tricked his father into drinking poisoned wine. The wine made Cronos vomit so much that he disgorged Zeus's siblings from his stomach. They were intact and ready for revenge. This, their second birth, made the youngest among them, Zeus, their oldest brother. Zeus's siblings acclaimed him as their elder and leader, and he set about finding allies. First, he recruited the Cyclops, who forged Zeus his lightning bolts. He also sought out the support of the 100-handed giants called the Hectonchiers. A 10-year battle between the Olympian gods led by Zeus and Titans led by Cronos ensued. Epics told of this battle being fought amidst thunderous storms, churning oceans, and winds so great they shifted the stars in the sky. Finally, Zeus overthrew his father and meted out harsh justice to his enemies. Most of the Titans went to the underworld of Tartarus, where Zeus would have gone if he lost the battle now called Titanomachy. Zeus and his older brothers then proceeded to draw lots to decide who would rule rich parts of creation. Of course, Zeus made himself the king of the skies, while his brother Poseidon received dominion over the seas. Hades took the underworld, and since Hades had been born first, he grew resentful at receiving the lesser prize. Such discord among the Olympians would bear bitter fruit in ages to come. Unfortunately, the Olympians could not reign peacefully, yet for their grandmother Gaia became furious at the overthrow and imprisonment of her children, the Titans. To free them, Gaia enlisted the help of a terrible and savage race of giants to battle with Zeus in a war that became known as the Gigantomachy. According to the most detailed source for this battle, the war started when the giant Alcyoneus stole cattle belonging to the god Apollo. A prophecy held that the giants would only be defeated if a mortal helped the gods, but they had added protection as well. To protect her children, Gaia tried to find a plant that would shield the giants from any harm. However, remembering how his own war against his father began with a poison made from plants, Zeus stopped the dawn, the moon, and the sun from shining. He then took every single plant for himself. This left the giants vulnerable to the Olympians, and during the titanic battle that ensued, the giants reshaped the very world, moving mountains, islands, and rivers during their clashes with the Olympians. Yet Zeus remembered the prophecy which held the Olympians would only prevail if a mortal aided them. Thankfully, Zeus begat one such mortal. When the battle began, Zeus's son Heracles fought against the giant Alcyoneus, who sparked the war. Unfortunately, the giant would not die as long as he remained on the soil of his homeland. So with Athena's advice, Heracles dragged Alcyoneus away from his homeland, and once he no longer had the totemic protection, Heracles slaughtered him. The other giants suffered similar fates. The Olympians entombed many of them under the islands of the known world, the most notable being Athena placing the giant Enceladus under the island of Sicily. In fact, the Greeks believed that the earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occurred when the Titans moved within their earthen tombs. Now the unquestioned king of heaven and earth, Zeus could afford to be merciful. After making peace with his mother, he allowed his dethroned father a consolation prize. Zeus made old Cronos the master of the White Isle, an afterlife realm reserved for the heroes of myth. It was an island paradise located in the far western stream of the river Oceanus, the great ocean which the Greeks believed encircled the three known continents of Europe, Asia, and Africa. Not only did this show some respect to his father, but it kept him out of his hair. Though briefly married to the nymph Metis, Zeus soon thereafter married Hera, one of his sisters. Yet Zeus could not resist the same fears that led his father and grandfather to become tyrants. When Hera gave birth to his daughter Athena, Zeus swallowed her, for fear she would usurp him as he usurped his father, and his father usurped his grandfather. In a rage, Hera struck Zeus's head with an axe, and Athena sprang fully grown from Zeus's head. After this, Zeus does not seem to have attempted to swallow any more of his offspring. Indeed, Athena would soon become Zeus's favorite child, and be granted patronship of the great city of Athens, to whom she gifted the treasured olive tree. That wraps things up for this episode of the Legendarium. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press like. If you want to see more, press subscribe. And if you've got anything to say, let me know in the comments section. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.